So, you want to build for yourself in Deepwoken, but where to begin? There's 5 known magics, plenty of weapons for each of the 3 classes unless you're a dagger player, in which case God bless your soul. And to my knowledge, hundreds of cards for individual spells and talents. It can be very overwhelming to begin searching for even one of the things you want, but how do you know what you want in conjunction with others? I hope to simplify that with this guide. Let's begin with a disclaimer that I am not the end-all be-all of Deepwoken, and at the end of the day, this is nothing more than a sheer suggestion based on my own personal reasonings. Also note that I literally cannot go over every build that exists. I can only guide you to a few plausible ones to get you started with your own creativity, one of the building blocks of the game. With that out of the way, let's begin. The first question you can ask is, what range do you want your build to be? I don't mean that in just the sense of what kind of weapon do you want. Different magics perform well at different ranges. In my personal opinion, the effective ranges for each kind of magic goes as follows. Fire is better at close to mid-range, Ice is better at close and far ranges, Wind is pretty good at all ranges, Thunder is good at mid and far ranges, and Shadow is good at close and far ranges. These magics also have talents that are more catered to either combat-centric or more supportive play. One of my personal favorite and easiest builds to manage is a heavy weapon monstrous build. This build is pretty easy to obtain in the sense that you don't need to be lucky, you only really need the requirements. A build that involves a greatsword typically requires one main stat, heavy weapon. Though 6 of the 13 heavy weapons of the game require about 10 strength, you can find a suitable heavy weapon by the late stage of the game, as long as you've been looting enemies consistently. The greatsword is my heavy of choice, though any of them are viable, and the monster cards are also very flexible, but 2 of my personal favorites have been Revenge and Pressure Blast. Revenge is a great gap closer and a combat initiator, able to start fights out of a normal burst range in order to prevent a player from logging. Pressure Blast is the same way, being able to distance tool for a weapon that already outranges all weapons in close quarters, giving it some ranged pressure, hence the name Pressure Blast. Since you're going to be primarily focused on dealing damage, you can go for a substat in strength, since it now gives armor penetration as of the recent patches. This will increase your damage by reducing your opponent's effective armor percentage. Jesus Christ. If they had 40 armor and you had 25 pen, they'd have 10 armor reduced from your attacks. You could also live to gain some fortitude. Heavies in this game often have super armor or poise related properties, but it's meaningless if you don't have the HP to take a hit in the first place. A good outline for a heavy weapon build, in my opinion, would be 100 in heavy weapon, 10 to 50 in strength, and 50 to 100 in fortitude. Following this formula, you'll still have plenty of points to play with if you'd like to turn it into a mantralist to mantra build, or if you'd like to become a depth slider with some willpower, or you can even gain some charisma and become a charmer. Let's say that a straightforward damage build isn't your style, however. Perhaps you're looking to be versatile and adaptable on the fly. I would then recommend a wind mantra focused build with your choice of medium weapon. Medium weapons are by far the most plentiful in the game, with a whopping 23, and the wind mantra cards have the most various uses in the entire game, from speedy attacks and powerful swings to graceful movement and well-crafted mobility. This combo gives the most freedom while still fitting into a certain box. You would certainly want to max out your wind to 100, but depending on what kind of versatility you want, you can stand to upgrade practically any stat. However, this is a guide, so I figure I'll give you my take. Wind is best used with a high damage mobility mindset. A lot of wind moves remove the player model as distance, regardless of it being a mobility spell. But the mobility of wind is its greatest asset, and as such, I'd recommend also maxing out your agility to 100. You could max out your medium, but you could also put 0 in your medium and obtain a hero sword, a weapon scaling directly off of your mantra hit. So a hero wind blade would scale off of your mantra and not medium, therefore making it so that if you go hero blade and put points in the medium, your medium is now useless. Not maxing your medium gives you access to do with 100 more skill points, whatever you'd like, allowing you to get even greater customization into your own build paths. This last build is meant to be a full synergy within itself. Ice magic is considered by far to be the best of the monsters besides wind, its main weakness being a high cost of ether and reservoir. Combining ice magic with shadow allows you to abuse its ice to its fullest potential, allowing you to be a self-sufficient magnet of ether, capable of taking on the largest groups of enemies or assassinations to be carried out in a 1v1 environment. The weapon of choice for this build is guns, dual wielding or combining with another light weapon, be it fist or dagger. This build will be the most difficult to obtain practically, but it should have the most payout if you're looking for a more meta build. The main goal of the build is to allow you to essentially never run out of ether. Shadow will naturally have talents allowing you to do such a thing, but you should make sure to get talents that directly take advantage of your superior ether reserves. This would include talents such as ether bullets and true ether bullets. Provide ice mantras or any high costing mobility spells. The stats of this build could vary. Without going into too much gritty detail, I found that it's most efficient to have locked magic, keeping them both at a maximum of 75. In addition, you'll want to be maxing out your light weapon to at least 65, but if you go the true ether bullets route, you need only unlock the requirements for the guns at 65. I appreciate anyone who made it this far into the video. Hopefully, you either really liked the sound of my voice, or found my ramblings useful. If this video performs well, or if it is requested, I'd like to continue outlining more builds for people to pick when being indecisive, perhaps more supportive builds next time. But with that out of the way, thanks again for watching. If you liked it, leave a like, make the red button turn gray, and talk trash about me in the comments. Peace.